So this seems so freaking simple that like, and maybe it won't hit for you coming from me, which is fine. Um, but it's top of mind because I was literally just reading it last night. Um, so it basically has to do with like why high achievers and entrepreneurs tend to like not be happy. Um, leading into what we were just talking about, the self-sabotage and all that shit. Um, it has to do with this like kind of mindset. He calls it like the gap in the gain. Um, and basically, there's kind of like two ways that you can go about your day and your life and how you think about stuff. Um, and maybe you can think about which one of these you are, because I know which one I am. Um, okay. So when we are doing anything, let's say we're working on working on our business, or we're working on a project, or we're even going on like vacation or something like that. Um, there's the start of whenever it happens. And then we always have this like ideal in our heads about like how things should be, basically. Um, so like what if you're going on vacation, your ideal trip, what it's going to look like. There's no lines at the airport. You know, you get on there, everything's perfect. You have a great time, blah, blah, blah. Um, or with your business, you know, maybe you set some goals for the year and you miss them and you don't reach them, or you lose a client, or you know, whatever it is. We all have this ideal in our head about that. Um, so here's basically the lesson. Most of us, when we measure progress in life, um, we tend to measure this area here. Okay. So the gap between what we've done up until this point and the ideal. And we measure these two things. And that's how we basically live our life. So if you're on vacation and you get on the plane and they're like, oh, there's going to be a 30-minute delay, you can let that ruin your entire day and get all jammed up and frustrated because you're measuring this right here. The ideal is that we have the best trip ever. Everything goes perfectly smooth. It's incredibly relaxing. Nothing bad happens. Um, Now, there's another way to do this, um, which is measuring from here to here. Whoops. Measuring from the start to where you are currently. Okay. And I guess they call that the gain. Okay. So when you look at this perspective, you're always comparing what's going on to where you began. So if you're setting, you know, your yearly goals or reflecting on 2024, um, you could look at your goals and say, these are all the things that I didn't do. And the way I'm defining the past year is that these are all the ideals I didn't reach. And the way that you would feel about that is unhappy, right? Unfulfilled, anxious, worried, stressed, all of that stuff. Um, Alternatively, if you're measuring from here, um, you're basically always in kind of a state of appreciation and gratitude and success, because no matter what, um, we all know where we started. We all know all the like challenges and shit that we've been through and problems that we've solved and things that we've worked through to get to this point. I know for like every one of you, there was a time in your life, myself included, where the life that you have now, you probably would have been fucking ecstatic to have it. Um, so whether that's like reaching a business milestone or having a partner or children or like just how you're able to spend your time, whatever it is. Um, if you were to show, I know for me, like if I were to show myself 10 years ago what I'm doing now, I would be like, that's fucking amazing. Like that's crazy, dude. Like I can't believe you've done this. Um, but if I sit there and compare it to, well, not not quite where I want to be yet. You know, I've got all these things that I want to do, and this isn't perfect, and this isn't quite how I'd like it, and this isn't how I want it. Um, you just like will never be happy. Um, so at its core, I guess this thing is just about like appreciation and gratitude. Um, but it's also about like the two different perspectives you can have on the present moment and reality. Um, and constantly measuring up against like the ideal and how things aren't how they should be, um, or measuring against the progress that you've made. Um, and very practically, that's like the difference between like a to-do list, right? And or a done list, you know. Um, the to-do list never ends. You're not like it's infinite, right? And as a result, it is like what's that myth? Pushing the boulder up the hill or whatever. Um,
Sisyphus.
yes, yeah, it's that. But the done list is about like actually making progress and looking back on how far you've come. So yeah, that's what I've been reading about for the last couple of days, and I don't know. It's I've been more receptive to this concept and idea recently, probably because it's just a reflective time of year. Um, but I found it to be very useful in terms of like the stories that I will tell myself about what's going on in my business and in my life. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I found it to be powerful. I think it's worth asking yourself, how much time do you spend over here versus over here? Um, and the more you can kind of shift your attention to this, it actually makes it way easier to do all of the stuff that you want to do. The end.